Crown Jewel featured some exciting action and a few standout performances, but the only major title change saw Io Sky and Dakota Kai regain the women's tag team championships from Asuka and Alexa Bliss. We also saw Logan Paul put on his best performance yet against Roman Reigns. Bayley and Bianca Belair took each other to the limit. Brock Lesnar scored a lucky win over Bobby Lashley, and Bray Wyatt gave another promo that was as cryptic as it was long. The men and women of WWE are back in the United States after their trip to Saudi Arabia, so now the build-up begins for Survivor Series War Games on Saturday night, November the 26th at the TD Garden in Boston, Massachusetts. Let's take a look at tonight's Raw to see the fallout from Crown Jewel and the beginning of the build-up for the next big show. For this is Ridiculously Raw. Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher. Maybe awaiting the presence of the phenom Michael Bullock. If he comes in, we'll catch him up on what he missed. If not, then we'll hopefully have him with us Wednesday night as part of Wednesday Night Madness. But Monday Night Raw live tonight from the Mohegan Sun Arena at Casey Plaza in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania on the USA Network. And we started it off with an in-ring segment as it was the Usos and Solo Sikoa. The Usos cut a promo and they were interrupted by the New Day. And then Riddle came out with his usual silliness. But it did lead to a six-man tag team matchup with the Usos and Solo Sikoa squaring off against the New Day and Riddle. The Usos and Solo Sikoa win the match 20 minutes and 55 seconds. Easily the fight of the night here. No ifs, ands, or buts about this one. This was hands down the fight of the night. 4.25 to 4.5 stars is my rating for this. Yep, and let's get into this. I mean, the promo, the exchange was good, but it may have lasted longer than it needed to. Riddle eventually joined them to make some jokes about being a stoner before the six-man was made. And you notice New Day and Riddle, they controlled the pace for the first couple of minutes with quick tags and double team moves. The Bloodline took control as the show went to break, so Riddle was on defense when we returned. Solo Sikoa was the difference maker for his team. Every time it seemed like the babyfaces would take over again, the enforcer of the Bloodline would assert his dominance. Between the promo and the match, WWE gave these guys the first 40 minutes of tonight's show. All six men put in a great effort, but in the end, Sikoa scored the pin on Riddle. The New Day and Usos is one of those combinations that will never let us down. And we fully expect that come Friday night on SmackDown when they have that humongous, undisputed tag team title matchup with the high stakes. If the New Day win, they win the titles and they keep their record intact for the longest reign. But if the Usos win, they retain and they will be guaranteed to be the new record holders. Usos and New Day is one of the best tag team feuds in WWE history. No matter how many times WWE goes back to it, it's still fun. The promo exchange was not a shoot, but a lot of people will label it that way because so many things they said are true. The New Day had to go through a lot before the group found success. Same with the Usos. And Riddle could barely get Jay up for a suplex at one point, but the way he popped his hips allowed him to hit the move in the end. It was actually an impressive show of power because it looked like he had no leverage when he began the move. But this was an absolutely fantastic match and a great way to start off this show tonight. Easily, hands down, the fight of the night. 4.25, 4.5 stars. Tremendous jump off. And up until the Riddle silliness, very good promo exchange with the Usos and the New Day as well. And if that doesn't get you excited for Friday night, I don't know what does. So there isn't much for me to say on this. So good old MF Michael Fletcher, come on in. The first 40 minutes of the show went to these guys. Nice promo exchange before the Riddle silliness, but then that 6-man tag. Woof. Wow, what a way to start. 4.25, 4.5. Like I said, hands down the fight of the night.
Yeah, 4.25. I'll give that. Amazing match. It gave us everything that it needed it to be. It needed to be solid. It needed to be good to great to unbelievable, and we got that and then some. So no, there is really not much for us to argue about here. This was exactly what it needed it to be. So yeah, the story that was written was amazing. The action was second to none, and for us, Anthony, we got to enjoy an incredible first hour of Monday Night Raw, and that's exactly what it needed it to be. So, it's yours.
Okay, so with that, we move on to the next match. It was Baron Corbin with JBL in his corner, squaring off against Cedric Alexander. Baron Corbin wins the match, 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Yeah, we're gonna bypass that. Unfortunately, there's gonna be quite a few cutouts on this show tonight, and this is one of them. Corbin winning in 2:20. I will say this match was quick and made Corbin look decent, but if they had a few more minutes, it could have been much better. So we're not even gonna get into that. But here we go. Seth freaking Rollins made his way out. This was supposed to be the open challenge for the United States Heavyweight Championship, and we had quite a few interruptions. First, it was the Judgment Day. Finn Balor. It looked like Finn Balor was going to answer the call, and we know the history of those two. And then the OC shows up. AJ Styles throws his hat in the ring. But then all hell breaks loose with the OC and the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley gets involved. And AJ says, we finally found someone. Well, we didn't find her. She found us. And look who is back in WWE. Mia Yim. The dirt sheets have been reporting it, that her time with Impact Wrestling was coming to an end. And no big surprise that Triple H was going to strike again and make this move. And MF, we talked about it. Initial reports were stating that Raquel Rodriguez was possibly going to be the one to contain Rhea Ripley, but nah, Mia Yim, the HBIC, is not going to be going after Rhea Ripley. Oh, business picking up.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Like you said, business is about to pick up. Big, big, big moment for her. And yeah, incredible. I don't think there's anything bad. I mean, this was a solid thing, big surprise, obviously. And yeah, I really got nothing more to say. I thought they really did this well done. So yeah, Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah. The OC ended up standing tall at the end of this segment. This was a decent way to keep the feud going and bring Mia Yim into the fold. But the way the crowd reacted, I thought was slightly disappointing. Mia Yim had a good run in NXT and had a lot of fans, so it was surprising that she did not get a bigger pop. It's possible a lot of fans did not realize who it was, though. She was wearing a hoodie at first, and it's not like she got the full Titantron and entrance to let people know who it was. So, having Yim back is awesome. She's a unique talent who can add more depth, even more depth, to the Raw Women's division. So, very, very good. So not much more to say on that. We move on to the next matchup, as it was Elias squaring off against Otis. Otis wins the match in an even 3 minutes. Another cutout here. A match was fine. They didn't do anything special, but they didn't make any mistakes either. It was what it needed to be. So we're not going to waste too much time on that. All right. Then we had the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair, along with Asuka and Alexa Bliss. They came down. They called out Damage Control. Damage Control shows up, fight breaks out, and Bianca Belair and you heard Bianca. She's saying it's no longer a fight, it's war. We all know what that means. And it's now official. We have our first match for Survivor Series. War Games, in the immortal words of Mr. Regal. The women's War Games match. And then Nikki Cross showed up. She took out Alexa again, and she raised all kinds of hell. So here we go. War Games women's match is now set. It will be Damage Control and Nikki Cross on one team with one more partner to be determined to square off against Bianca Belair, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and they need two partners to round out the team. Solid segment, there's no doubt, and no big surprise. We knew it was going to be this combination for the women's War Games match. We didn't know who it was going to be, but I think this is finally where this feud is going to finally come to an end. No better way to blow it off than inside the confines of War Games. So there isn't much more for me to add to it. So MF, here we go. War Games, women's match. Damage Control, Nikki Cross with one partner to be determined on their side. Bianca, Asuka, and Alexa with two partners to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, this is it. It doesn't get any bigger than this. It is War Games. It is this is the premier event for WWE. And for this to go down and to be that kind of a match, that kind of a moment, oh yeah, it's going to be truly, it's awesome. They got the right people in it. We got to wait to see who the last member of Team Damage Control is going to be, and then we got to find out who the remaining two for Asuka, Alexa, and Bianca to be. So all we know is that it's going to be pretty good. Really nothing more to say. I liked it. Solid for what it's worth. And yeah, we'll wait. So Florio is yours.
All right. We move on to our next match. Austin Theory squaring off against Shelton Benjamin. Austin Theory wins the match, 2 minutes, 40 seconds. Another cutout match here. This was a short but solid match that showed off the skills of both men. It was also a great reminder of how good Benjamin is at working with anybody. If WWE is not going to give him a real push, using him to put other people over will still get him on TV. So not much more to say on that. Then we had The Miz. The Miz squaring off against Johnny Gargano. Some more Johnny Gargano detective work. They had a verbal exchange before the match, and then we had the match. The Miz versus Johnny Gargano, and The Miz wins the match in an even 17 minutes. Yeah, Miz cheated his way to win, but this was a very good. This was the second best fight of the night for me. I'm gonna give it a solid 4 stars for the effort. I'll tell you what. I mean, yeah, even 17 minutes and MF. What a way! I mean, second best fight of the night. It looks like Miz got exposed by Gargano, and then and Loomis showed up. He attacked Miz after the match, but Miz cheated his way to win nefarious means, using this little turnbuckle contraption to deck Gargano for the win, and Miz wins in an even 17 minutes.
Yeah, tremendous matchup. Could have been a little more better, but I don't mind the outcome of the match. I don't mind, because I kind of feel like the match is going to run a little while longer. Not by much, but I think it'll run a little longer. But yeah, I really got nothing more to say. I thought it was a solid match, and This was easily 3.5 stars for me. So nothing more to say. Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, I'll actually give it 3.5 to 3 3/4 because of the cheap finish there. But I'll tell you what, man. I mean, a lot of what we saw was Gargano trying to prove he is the better wrestler, and most of the time he succeeded. He had the Miz on the ropes, both literally and figuratively, before one big kick stopped the former NXT champion in his tracks. As the match progressed, it became more competitive. What started as a lighthearted exchange of counters turned into a personal battle between two men who have grown to hate each other. The former WWE champion ended up using a tool he found under the ring as a weapon while the referee was distracted, so he was able to pick up the win. Fun performance from both men, and while the finish was a little screwy, it protected Gargano and allows them to continue this feud. Loomis attacked The Miz with a chair while he was celebrating and then ran away from security through the crowd. Gargano is underrated as a comedic personality. He was great when he was with the Way in NXT, and he's bringing a lot of that energy to the main roster now. Something The Miz doesn't get enough credit for is being a safe worker. He always does his best to make sure his opponents land safely. Gargano is great at a lot of things, but hiding the thigh slap when he hits a super kick is not one of them. The Miz countering the slingshot spear with a running knee was a great spot. It didn't fully connect, but it was quick, so it was hard to tell. So 3.5, 3 3/4, second best fight of the night, no doubt about it. And then we had, it's not often we see this on the show anymore, but it's one of the rare times we get it. A 24/7 championship match. Dana Brooke defending against Nikki Cross. Winner of the match in 2 minutes and 15 seconds, and the new 24/7 champion, it's Nikki Cross. She wins the title, and yeah, but I'll tell you what, this was short, but that was probably for the best. It made Nikki look like a beast, but she appeared to throw the title away after a commercial break. So we'll see if it ever makes another appearance. Hopefully this is the end of it. And we'll wait and find out. So.
According to a couple of people, I think with Nikki throwing the belt away, unless it's one of those where somebody finds the belt, I think tonight was the last night we've seen of the 24/7 title. A couple of people has alluded to it, so I think the 24/7 belt might be dead.
I hope that's the case, because let's be realistic. It was cool at first.
Yeah.
But then it just started getting obnoxious and annoying.
It got to the point where
go away.
It got silly. It got silly. The belt never ever meant any relevance, or there was nothing there that would have made us say wow, or this is no. Nothing stood, or nothing told us anything was going to be great about it. It's just, it was fine for what it was worth. It was fine for the time, but I mean, for Triple H to kind of retire the belt is probably the best thing, because it kind of was watering it down. I think if you ever wanted it to do a 24/7 title, then the most logical thing was bringing back the hardcore title. That would have been more logical. But that's just my personal thoughts more than anything else.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens. All right, now Seth freaking Rollins comes back out with the to issue the U.S. Open Challenge, and at first it looked like Mustafa Ali was going to answer the call, but then we heard somebody take him out, and we're like, oh, who took him out? It was Bobby Lashley, and then Bobby Lashley comes out, and he and Rollins, they go at it, and they didn't really go at it. Bobby Lashley just beat the you-know-what out of him. And then from there, Mr. Money in the Bank, Austin Theory, and he cashes in on the U.S. title. That's never happened before. It's always been for the WWE Championship, the World Heavyweight Championship, the Universal Championship. No, he cashed in on the U.S. title. And when all was said and done, despite everything, Seth freaking Rollins retains the title in an even 5 minutes. Well. Interesting. Very, very interesting, to say the very least, when it comes to all this. Oh, my. I don't even know where to start with this, but it's difficult to decide if this was good or not. I mean, it was certainly entertaining, but this might be proof that the new regime does not see Theory as the star Vince McMahon thought he was. The feud between Bobby Lashley and Seth Rollins is going to be great. So at least we have that to look forward to. And WWE was smart to allow Rollins to be a face again. He is super over with the crowd, and sometimes you have to give the people what they want. Lashley was giving off more heel vibes during his attack on Ali and his challenge, and it looks like he might be a heel moving forward. Theory's pedigree looked weird. He almost realized it as he was trying to hit it, and the Almighty should have been booked this way since the start. Watching him dominate everyone was awesome. So I could probably give it about 2 to 2.5 for the effort. Or you can make a no rating case for this. I would not be upset about that at all. I wouldn't. But nonetheless, through all of this, Seth freaking Rollins is still the United States Heavyweight Champion. And MF, so much to decipher out of this. I mean, Rollins, we thought it was going to be Ali. Lashley takes him out. Lashley comes out, beats the hell out of Rollins. Theory cashes in Money in the Bank on the U.S. title and fails. So, man, a lot to decipher.
Yeah, a lot to decipher, a lot to talk about, a lot of craziness. But whatever the case may be, whatever you want to say, Seth Rollins is still the United States Heavyweight Champion. That's all that matters. Austin Theory now becomes a footnote in the Money in the Bank lore as he fails to win the title. Yes, it is the U.S. title. That's a little bit of a shocking moment, but some people thought, they're like, why did he not cash in at Halloween Havoc? Why did he not cash in for the NXT title if you're going to do that to him? Pretty much that, I think, where Vince McMahon thought of his feel and his theory, or his thoughts of Austin Theory, well, Triple H pretty much buried Austin Theory here tonight. Any hope, any idea, any vision, they got none for Austin Theory. And for him to lose with the Money in the Bank cash in the way that he did, man, that's a tough pill to swallow. You kind of feel sorry for Austin Theory. Young star, young kid, and everything else. And this is how Triple H does Theory. I mean, man, that's gonna be a little rough. That's gonna be rough for him. Hopefully he bounces back, but I don't know. For him to lose it to Rollins, I mean, man, like I said, that it's such a unique situation. So really nothing more to add here. And yeah, so Anthony, it was a great main event. I'll say 2 stars, so it's yours.
All right, MF, overall thoughts, and I got to be honest.
It was a 50-50 show.
Yeah.
I mean, it was more 6 out of 10. Yes, I get it. It wasn't the best Monday Night Raw. You could say it was a little bit of a down to earth, but we did get a little bit of a payoff. We did get at least one of the 2 War Games matches announced. That's big. That's huge.
Yep.
I thought Rollins definitely was the MVP here tonight. I thought he did a really good job. But like you said, the one match that everybody's going to be looking forward to is going to be this Friday night, and that's the SmackDown Live, the battle for the tag belts between the Usos and the New Day. It is definitely now getting higher and higher build, and to me, honestly, I think it's going to be the main event now. I think now more than ever, I'm starting to feel like they're going to give this the main event spot. So overall, yeah, solid show. Could have been a lot better in certain areas, but I'm not gonna be that facetious. So Anthony, it's yours.
Yeah, 6 out of 10 for me as well. I mean, it felt like a back to reality show after an amazing crown jewel in Saudi Arabia this past Saturday. And I think it kind of felt like jet lag, if you will. I mean, they were just coming back from Saudi, and it's like what it's like what you say. I kind of feel like it was a little bit of a punt here tonight. Even though we did get some good things out of it. I mean, we got 2 quality matches out of it. That 6-man tag with the Bloodline and New Day and Brittle, that was the fight of the night. And then the second best fight of the night, the match with the Miz and Johnny Gargano. And we had a couple of good segments here and there. Plus, we announced one of the 2 War Games matches for Survivor Series, the women's side. That's now official. And yeah, so they obviously didn't want to do too much tonight, but once we get to next week, you're only going to have 2 weeks to build Survivor Series. So hopefully we'll get more Survivor Series stuff next week when we get to Louisville. So that's all I can say on that. So a 6 out of 10. A lot of other cutouts. I mean, it felt, it kind of, even though we're under that new regime, it kind of felt like a McMagma show tonight. I don't know why, but it did. All those cutouts. We had like 3 or 4 cutouts. That's the most cutouts we've had on a Raw and probably since Triple H took over. So a little bit of a disappointing show. Solid, not overly spectacular. 6 out of 10. I agree with the rating. So let's get to the Tony's Take here. Impact Wrestling starts it off as always. And we started it off with the next match in the X Division tournament. The tournament to crown the new X Division champion. Kenny King squaring off against Mike Bailey, the Speedball. Winner of the match in 8 minutes and 43 seconds. And moving on in the tournament, Speedball Mike Bailey. 2.5, 2 3/4. It was a very Mike Bailey match. He did all of his usual stuff, kicks, flips, and really annoying no selling of an injured body part. The athleticism is great, but it would be nice to have him act more like a wrestler for once. I'm not sure I would have had King lose so early, but there's not much room to shake things up in an 8-person tournament. Savannah Evans squaring off against Jessica, and it was Savannah Evans winning the match in 11 minutes and 11 seconds. 3 to 3 1/4 stars. I'm not sure how much interest there is in Evans, and now calling her the Cannibal isn't going to help that much. That being said, it's a good idea to give her a singles win every now and then, just to keep her built up at least a bit. It's probably setting up Steels and Evans for a tag team title match, and guess what? It actually is. At the Overdrive event on Friday, November the 18th, it will be Savannah Evans and Tasha Steelz challenging the Death Dolls for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships. Because singles matches make a difference in tag wrestling for some odd reason. Then from there, then we had what felt like a cinematic type match. Eddie Edwards and PCO in the desert, and Eddie Edwards buried PCO alive. And then from there, Eric Young squaring off against Sami Callihan. Sami Callihan wins the match via disqualification in 6 minutes and 10 seconds. NA for this. The Violent by Design stuff. Callihan needs an army to fight against. The match was the usual brawl without much to be seen, but above all else, it was about the big ending, which is likely going to be the start of something big with the team here, depending on who are under the hoodies. And it turned out to be Big Con, Connor from the Ascension, and Alan Five Angels, formerly of the Dark Order. So they're now part of Violent by Design with Eric Young and Dina, because, Joe Doring had to retire because of brain cancer issues there. And we wish him the best in his recovery. Moose squaring off against Ace Austin And Ace Austin steals the match in 11 minutes and 14 seconds. 3.25 stars. Nice enough matches. You can always get somewhere with power versus speed. That's what they were playing at here until the ending with Bully Ray with the distraction. Ace Austin winning, very nice to see. But it's all about Bully Ray and Moose because something always has to be about Bully Ray. And then in the main event of the evening, tag team action, the Impact World Heavyweight Champion Josh Alexander and his challenger at Overdrive, Frankie Kazarian. They squared off against the Aussie Open. And when all was said and done, the winners of the match, 19 minutes and 18 seconds, it was Josh Alexander and Frankie Kazarian. Easily the fight of the night here. This was about 4.25, teetering on 4.5. Rather entertaining back and forth match, though the lack of tagging got old near the end. Upcoming opponents versus a regular team is an idea that's worked for a long time, and that was the case again here. Aussie Open continues to be a good team, but it would be nice to have them win a big match every now and then. 7 out of 10. It's a weird time for Impact. They're doing almost everything right, but they're doing it on the way to a show that isn't all that interesting. Frankie Kazarian feels a lot like Alex Shelley as a challenger, and having the Willie Won't He stuff from Bully Ray is not the most thrilling. Hopefully they can find something better to do after Overdrive on the way to their first pay-per-view of 2023, which is hard to kill coming January. But we've got a long way to go to get there. So that was a 7 out of 10 for me, no question. And with that, we let's move on to what we will and I will set the table for this upcoming Thursday on Impact Wrestling. We've got 2 title matches. We got Jordynne Grace defending the Knockouts Championship against Giselle Shaw. The first semifinal match in the X Division title tournament, Speedball Mike Bailey squaring off against Trey Miguel. Mickie James one-on-one with Chelsea Green. And Brian Myers will defend the Impact Digital Media Championship against Joe Hendry. And that'll all go down this Thursday night, 8 p.m., Access TV, 8:30 p.m. for the Impact Insiders on YouTube. And then at 10 p.m., it will be immediately uploaded to Impact Plus. So if you missed it on Access TV, you can always watch it at Impact Plus at 10 p.m., although Access TV offers a replay at 11 p.m. So that's it for that. Now we'll quickly get into NXT Level Up, and then we'll call it a night here. Okay. We started off with Ivy Nile versus squaring off against Sol Ruca, and Ivy Nile wins in 4 minutes and 51 seconds. It was kind of a clash of styles here, but it was all right. Sol has promised with her athletic background, and Ivy has become a big name on this brand as she continues to rack up the wins. Can only give it 1 star, though. Miles Bourne versus Hank Walker. Hank Walker wins the match, 4 minutes and 15 seconds. Well, there goes the winning streak of Miles Bourne. It was also all right and a bit more fluid than the opener. Too short to get any kind of traction, but they're newbies, so it's what we get. 1.5 star for that effort. And then the main event, Zion Quinn squaring off against Oro Mensah. And Oro Mensah wins the match, 6 minutes and 8 seconds. It was technically solid, but was kind of dull as the crowd wasn't into it. I like what I saw from Mensah and Quinn, and Quinn has a good look, but he seems stuck on this show for the time being. Default fight of the night, I can only give it 2 stars, 5 out of 10. I wasn't a fan of this show last week, as the 2 early matches were rather short, and the main event had a checked out crowd. I appreciate seeing a few faces return to the brand, and Ivy Nile winning is always a good thing. 5 out of 10 for that. So with that will put the ball on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in as always. MF, set up the times for our future content for this week, if you would.
All right. So with that said, on Wednesday night, we're going to do Wednesday Night Madness. I'm going to do it at 10:30 this time around. So we'll do 10:30 this time around. And then Thursday, which is College Football Thursday, that also will be at 10:30. Yep. Friday, 11 or the usual. Yep. And then Saturday will be 10:30 as well.
All right. Very good. So I'll set the table here. Wednesday night, you heard it. MF said it. 10:30 Wednesday Night Madness over on his channel, RaceFan95. Wednesday Night Madness, as we will have what we always do, NXT and AEW Dynamite. And we'll also preview Thursday Night Football, the Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers. And then Thursday night, also at 10:30, right back here on the Tone 25, it'll be the Week 11 edition of TXN Sports World College Football Thursday. We're getting close to the end of the season. We only have a few more weeks left. It's crazy how fast this season has flown by. And then from there, Friday night, 11 p.m., following Rampage, MF will have it, Braves Fan 95, Cerebral Smack Talk, as we will have Friday night SmackDown and AEW Rampage. And then Saturday night at 10:30 here on the Tone 25, it's the Week 10 edition of TXN Sports World NFL Saturday, as that will be, we'll recap the Falcon Panther game, and then we'll get into the rest of the slate for Week 10. The headline game, what might be a Super Bowl preview, you don't know. We'll see. But the game of the week, hands down, record-wise, it's the Minnesota Vikings and the Buffalo Bills. It's going to be something else. So we'll get into that on Saturday night as well. And then next Monday night, we do it all again, right back here on the Tone 25 for another edition of Ridiculously Raw, as we are now on the road to the Survivor Series. So with that, that'll put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you all so very much for tuning in. And so until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, Anthony Florio here for good old MF Michael Fletcher, and in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, and always and forever the First Lady Dee Dee Woodson. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up 14-4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Madness, you've been watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, my friends, no matter what anyone tells you, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.